My name is Paula Marie Styles, and this is my testimony. Well, part of it anyway. In the beginning, I was born in Canada, and I came to the States when I was 5 years old, and born into a Ukrainian, Scotch, and Polish family. My father, all Ukrainian, born in the old country. My mother, born in Canada. And lived in Detroit and multiple places. My teen years was, you better go to church or else. And so I did, even though I stayed out, late. Of course, out here is when I was growing up to my teen years, late teen years, and early 20s. Motorcycles, ATVs, horses, and wild cousins, and a lot of drinking, and a lot of carousing, and just, let's just entertain. Huge upheaval in my life. So I was kind of trying to run away from that. And being the oldest, you really can't run away from that. You turn into being like the second mother. But I was still running away, and just went to college around Warren in a community college setting, but had a boyfriend, my husband Tom. Had a boyfriend from the age of 16, so we knew that we would probably get married. And so we did. Then the babies started coming. Once the babies started getting a little bit older, then there was this shift in my life. Of course, all this time, once I got married, I wasn't going to church anymore either. Just kind of, nobody needs that, I don't need that. Before I even had any children, I thought, okay, let's get back to church. Not thinking about God at all, just let's get back to church. And the Catholic Church said, well, because I was married in a Presbyterian church. Well, you're not married, you're this, you're that, you have to get remarried, and so I said, well, see ya. So I left. I didn't go to church. So there was that little bit of bitterness in my mouth too about church. But I knew I had a really strong Christian sister-in-law that I swear to this day prayed us into the kingdom. I know she did. Cindy. Tears me up just thinking about it. So it was time to go to church, and where that came from, I'm sure it just came from God. It was just impressed upon us that our fast life of carousing and parties and drinking, a lot of terrible things happened through that time too. That cousins died, and just all involved with that whole drinking scene, like it does. You can't go for a long time in that life and not have something drastic happen to you. So there was all of that happen too. So that kind of gets in your mind and your thinking pattern. But that still brings us back to how did we get to church? How did that all happen? How did I find Jesus? How do you do that? I mean, you don't. God puts you in this place and gets your mind right and ready. So all this time, God knew what I was going through, and God knew where I was, and God always meets you where you are. And my mind became right and ready, I think, when my sister-in-law, another sister-in-law, a younger one, was attending Brighton Christian Church. So walked into the Brighton Christian Church, and of course, mind you, this is the first time I've ever been in a non-Catholic church. Okay, so it was different anyway. The whole scene was different. But God just laid these godly women about my God and who I was and what my purpose. Now I had a purpose. And he knew me all this time, all this junk that I went through, and he brought me to this place. And here I was coming to this place for my children, and I found him first. When you look back at all the years that you don't see it happening as you're in it, but God's there the whole time, and it's because of his grace and because of his mercy that he pulls you along. He wants you. He doesn't leave you alone. And if I didn't have if I think back, and if I didn't come and I didn't have those women who just poured into me and showed me the way, I would have been lost still. I've been out there just partying away and having a good time, and now I'm partying away and having a good time with Jesus. And it's a really different. It's a different life, a life that you don't want to run away from. You don't want to run away from the life in Christ. You want to keep running to him.